Welcome to the show, everyone. Today we're diving deep into rethinking Medallion data architecture for Intelligence Age, a framework that's reshaping how we process data for both business and technical excellence. We have a panel of 5 experts from different industry backgrounds with deep experience in building robust data architectures and AI applications at scale.
Thanks for having us. I'm excited to explore how this layered approach from raw data to refined insights is revolutionizing industries.
Absolutely. Imagine Medallion architecture as a multi-stage coffee brewing process. Raw beans, bronze, get refined into a perfectly balanced espresso shot, gold, each layer enhancing flavor and value.
I love that analogy. It's like refining crude oil into premium gasoline. Every stage extracts more value and precision, ensuring that what reaches the engine of your business is top quality. Now, with the power of LLM reasoning, it is even easier.
Right? And from a business perspective, ensuring data quality at every stage is critical, like making sure every brick in a skyscraper is sound before adding the next floor.
Exactly. And I can share a real-world case where our company applied these techniques. By layering our data pipelines, we improved decision-making speed and accuracy dramatically.
That sounds intriguing. Let's start with the basics. How does the Medallion architecture work technically, and why is it so effective?
At its core, the Medallion architecture uses multiple layers: bronze for raw data ingestion, silver for cleaning and transformation, and gold for business-ready analytics. Each stage builds on the previous one, allowing for incremental refinement.
Yeah, it's like constructing a building. You start with a solid foundation and add floors, each with its own purpose, until you have a fully functional structure.
And this layered approach not only improves data quality, but also simplifies troubleshooting. If there's an issue, you know exactly which floor or layer to inspect.
I agree, and from an enterprise viewpoint, this modularity means you can scale or adjust individual layers without overhauling your entire data pipeline.
In our experience, this flexibility was a game changer. For instance, when integrating new data sources, we simply extended our pipeline, much like adding a new wing to an existing building without disturbing the rest.
Fascinating. Let's explore the technical challenges you might face while implementing this architecture.
One significant challenge is maintaining data consistency across layers, especially with real-time streaming data that's continuously flowing in.
Right, real-time data is like a fast-moving river. If you don't have proper filtering at each stage, you end up with debris that can clog the system.
And then there's the issue of latency. Ensuring that data transitions smoothly from bronze to gold without bottlenecks is a constant juggling act.
Not to mention the complexity of data lineage tracking, which is crucial for both compliance and troubleshooting. A missing piece here can turn your neat architecture into a spaghetti mess.
I'd even say it's like trying to trace the flight path of a paper airplane in a hurricane. Without the right tools, you're lost in the chaos.
Paper airplanes in a hurricane. Great imagery. So how did you overcome these challenges in your implementations?
We leaned heavily on robust metadata management tools that logged every transformation step, making it easy to backtrack and diagnose issues.
And by leveraging cloud-native technologies, we could scale our infrastructure dynamically as data volumes exploded. Think of it as adding extra lanes to a highway during rush hour.
I'd add that combining modern orchestration tools with best practices from our legacy systems provided the perfect balance between innovation and reliability.
Precisely, and starting with small pilot projects helped us test and refine our approach before rolling it out enterprise-wide, like tasting a dish before serving it at a banquet.
That pilot strategy was critical. It allowed us to experiment without overwhelming our systems, ensuring that every layer was truly adding value before we scaled up.
It's clear that a thoughtful, incremental approach is key. Now let's talk about the business impact. How does rethinking Medallion architecture drive competitive advantage?
Well, by ensuring that insights are derived from high-quality, well-processed data, companies can make faster, more informed decisions, directly impacting their bottom line.
Exactly. It's like having a well-oiled machine. Every part is optimized to keep the whole system running smoothly, giving you a competitive edge in rapidly changing markets.
I'd say it's similar to an agile sprint. You're continuously refining your data, which in turn fuels real-time strategy adjustments.
From my perspective, the agility provided by Medallion architecture is crucial in today's environment. Companies can respond to market shifts almost instantaneously when they have reliable, layered data.
And let me share a specific example. A retail client of ours integrated both in-store and online customer data using this approach, which allowed them to dynamically adjust their promotions and saw a 15% boost in sales.
A 15% boost is impressive. Can you dive deeper into how that retail transformation worked?
Sure. By integrating data from multiple touchpoints, they could identify emerging trends and tailor their marketing strategies almost in real time, essentially having a dashboard that predicted consumer behavior.
Right. It's like assembling a jigsaw puzzle. Every high-quality data piece from bronze to gold helped them see the complete picture, enabling more targeted and effective strategies.
I completely agree. And the fact that you can do this without a complete system overhaul means that businesses can experiment and innovate with minimal risk.
I want to add that the scalability of this approach allowed them to expand their operations seamlessly, like upgrading a car engine without replacing the whole vehicle.
And the best part is that with each iteration, the insights become richer, turning data into a strategic asset that drives both operational and financial performance.
It seems like Medallion architecture is not just about technical finesse, but also about enabling a more responsive business model.
Exactly. By transforming raw data into actionable insights, companies can drive faster innovation and ultimately a more resilient business strategy.
And let's not forget the importance of agility. As markets evolve, having a flexible data infrastructure means you're always a step ahead of the competition.
Enthusiastically, to quote Henry Ford, if everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. It's a perfect summary of how collaboration between business and tech teams can lead to transformative results.
I love that quote. It really captures the essence of what we're discussing. When technical excellence meets business strategy, you get powerful synergies that drive success.
And Medallion architecture is the framework that brings those synergies to life, allowing businesses to adapt quickly and efficiently.
Before we wrap up, what advice would you give to companies considering this approach?
Start small. Test the waters with a pilot project, learn from the early stages, and then scale iteratively. Don't try to build the entire skyscraper in one go.
I agree. And don't hesitate to blend modern technologies with legacy systems. It's like mixing a classic recipe with a modern twist. Sometimes the best flavors come from unexpected combinations.
Always keep a close eye on data quality. In the end, the best insights are only as good as the data they're built on.
Absolutely. Each layer should add clear value. Think of it as making a perfect lasagna. The layering is essential, and skipping a step can ruin the whole dish.
And remember, building these pipelines requires a bit of creativity and, yes, even a sense of humor. Our team often jokes that designing a data pipeline is like cooking. You need the right ingredients, precise timing, and sometimes a pinch of improvisation.
And building on our earlier discussion, we're now seeing the rise of AI-driven data product architectures where LLMs and copilots actively guide data refinement, almost like having a smart co-chef in your data kitchen.
Exactly. Imagine integrating a platform like Microsoft Fabric, an all-in-one software-as-a-service data platform which not only orchestrates data pipelines, but also leverages AI to predict bottlenecks and optimize each layer dynamically.
It's like having a real-time coach. LLMs help refine queries and suggest schema adjustments on the fly, ensuring that our medallion architecture remains both agile and robust.
And this AI-driven approach extends into data governance, too. Copilots can monitor compliance and flag anomalies, making sure that every data contract is upheld without constant manual oversight.
I'd add that these intelligent systems learn over time, meaning the more data they process, the better they become at predicting trends and automating adjustments, which is a game changer for rapid innovation.
In our shift-left strategy, incorporating LLMs early on means that even as data streams are ingested, AI can assist in curating and validating data, almost like a pre-flight checklist that's continuously improving.
That's a fantastic note to end on. Thank you all for this insightful, engaging, and dare I say, delicious conversation on rethinking medallion architecture.
Thank you, host. It's been a pleasure sharing our experiences and insights.
Yes, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you found our discussion as enlightening as it was enjoyable.
I'm already looking forward to our next deep dive into data innovations and transformation strategies.
Likewise, and remember, a well-designed data architecture is the backbone of any thriving business.
Thanks, everyone. Here's to building smarter, more agile data pipelines that drive success.
Short break, and have a fantastic day, everyone. Stay tuned for Part 2. Welcome back to our Technical Deep Dive, Part 2, where we unravel the complexities of alternative data architecture implementation and the creation of robust data products.
Thanks for joining us again. Today we're shifting gears to explore how building data products from multiple streams can fundamentally change our approach to data curation and governance.
Right. And when we talk about lean to left in architecture, it means pushing quality and testing earlier in the data pipeline, not waiting for issues to show up downstream.
Exactly. Think of it like checking your car's oil before a long road trip, rather than dealing with a breakdown later. This proactive stance is key when integrating data from various streams.
Speaking of data streams, building data products today often means identifying clear boundaries, like drawing a map for a treasure hunt, so that each data product has a well-defined purpose and clear interfaces.
And that's where data contracts come in. They serve as formal agreements that specify what data producers deliver and what consumers expect, reducing miscommunication and ensuring consistency.
Data contracts are indeed the backbone of reliable data exchange. So how do we practically implement these contracts when building data products from multiple streams?
We start by clearly defining schema boundaries, much like setting the edges of a puzzle piece. Each product must have its own contract that specifies the data format, quality metrics, and transformation rules.
And speaking of schema, let's dive into Parquet and schema evolution. Parquet is an efficient columnar storage format, and schema evolution allows these stored datasets to adapt as business needs change without disrupting ongoing operations.
It's like renovating a house while still living in it. You improve the structure gradually without completely shutting it down.
Right? And Apache Iceberg is another game changer here. It's an open table format for huge analytic datasets that supports schema evolution and hidden partitioning, making it ideal for stream processing.
I'd add that using Apache Iceberg with streams is particularly useful because it allows you to materialize streaming data into tables seamlessly, like turning a continuous river of data into organized lakes for efficient querying.
How exactly does Apache Iceberg help with materializing streams into tables?
Essentially, Iceberg creates a layer of abstraction where streaming data is continuously ingested and stored as immutable files, which then get referenced by Iceberg tables, enabling time travel queries and consistent snapshots.
And it's all managed with a transactional model that ensures each update is atomic, much like a meticulous librarian adding one book at a time to a catalog without disrupting the overall order.
I agree, and the ability to perform schema evolution smoothly with Iceberg means that as your data product requirements change, you can evolve your tables without losing historical context. A real lifesaver for long-term analytics.
Now, shifting back to looking outside the source application, it's crucial to integrate testing and validation at every step, from the moment data is generated until it's consumed, rather than waiting until it's already in the analytics layer.
This early testing means that the source system, middleware, and even downstream consumers share the responsibility for data quality, which helps catch issues early and reduces the risk of data corruption.
That raises an important point. Who is responsible for data curation in such a decentralized system?
It's a collaborative effort. Data stewards, engineers, and even business analysts all need to take ownership. Think of it as a team sport where every player is accountable for keeping the data field in top shape.
Absolutely. And governance plays a critical role here. Establishing clear policies for data access, versioning, and lineage tracking is essential, much like having well-defined rules in a board game to ensure everyone plays fairly.
And speaking of data access, companies need to think through both security and usability. Access controls should be robust yet flexible, ensuring that the right users can get to the data they need without compromising integrity.
I'd say that designing data access is like crafting a museum exhibit. Each piece of data is displayed with the appropriate context, and access is granted based on roles and responsibilities.
Moreover, governance shouldn't be an afterthought. It must be built into the architecture from the ground up, with clear guidelines on who governs what, be it the data owners, the IT department, or a dedicated data governance board.
With so many moving parts, how do organizations ensure smooth integration across all these elements?
It comes down to meticulous planning and a mindset, testing early, continuously validating, and having clear data contracts in place. This ensures that all components, from Parquet files to Iceberg tables, work harmoniously.
I agree, and leveraging automation tools for schema management and contract enforcement can help mitigate human error, kind of like having a reliable autopilot when flying through turbulent skies.
And let's not forget the importance of iterative development. You start small, validate, and then scale. This incremental approach helps you manage complexity without overwhelming your systems.
It's like baking a multi-layer cake. Each layer must be perfect on its own before you can assemble the final masterpiece.
Indeed, and as we continue to build these architectures, it's vital that business leaders and tech teams maintain a constant dialogue. After all, a well-governed data product is a strategic asset that drives competitive advantage.
Before we wrap up, can we touch on the practical aspects of implementing these strategies? What are the first steps companies should take?
Start by identifying the key data streams and defining clear boundaries for each data product. Then set up data contracts that all teams adhere to from day one.
And invest in technologies like Apache Iceberg and Parquet that support schema evolution and efficient data storage. These are the building blocks for a future-proof architecture.
I'd also recommend establishing a dedicated data governance framework early on so that issues of data curation and access are managed proactively rather than reactively.
Finally, foster a culture of continuous improvement. Encourage cross-functional teams to regularly review and update data policies, kind of like a tune-up for your data engine.
And remember, the goal is to create a system where data flows seamlessly, quality is ensured from the start, and every stakeholder feels empowered to innovate and iterate.
That was a deep dive into the technical and practical aspects of alternate approaches in data architecture and data product creation. Thank you all for sharing your insights and expertise on this intricate subject.
Thank you, host. It's always a pleasure to break down these complex topics in a way that's both technically rigorous and accessible.
Thanks, everyone. I hope our discussion inspires you to adopt a new mindset in the age of innovation and elevate your data strategies.
I'm already looking forward to our next session where we continue to bridge the gap between technical challenges and business innovation.
Likewise, and remember, building robust data products is a marathon, not a sprint. Steady progress and clear governance are key. Your derived intelligence is as good as your data.
Thanks to all our listeners. Here's to creating data architectures that not only meet today's demands, but also adapt to tomorrow's challenges.
And with that, we conclude part 2 of our deep dive. Until next time, keep innovating and curating data. Start thinking an AI-ready enterprise, like the pros you are.